Okay, it is Mr. Parker Stevenson at the Hollywood Show in Chicago. I am so excited to meet you because I was a big fan of the Hardy Boys when I was growing up. Great role for you. I would love to know, first of all, how all that came about. How did you hear about the role? Was it an audition process? What was that like?
You mean the Hardy Boys?
Yes.
You know, they had already set Sean, and they'd set him early. And they were still trying to find the other guy. And I came in really late at the very end and did a screen test with Sean, and we laughed a lot and we had a good time, and so that was it. It just happened.
It was good chemistry between the two.
Yeah, it's great chemistry.
You were like brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were the older brother,
I
and
was
maybe
the
the
older brother.
more stable, more sensible, kind of a by-the-book brother. Is that how you would describe Frank Hardy? Or
Yeah, I think that's what was scripted. I don't know if it stayed that way, but that's how it started.
Okay, and you're familiar with the books. You had read the books, a few of the books. Did you use the books as inspiration for your approach, or did the producers, the directors of the show send you in another direction for the character? What was the character sketch that you were given when you got the role?
You know, it was sort of a classic formula of two brothers, you know, solving mysteries, and we went off what our chemistry was and the situations they put us in. And just kind of let it see what happened. And they would tweak us sometimes, make us be more serious or make us be lighter. But it wasn't that much thought went into it.
And we were talking on the way here, on the drive here, the fact that they didn't really base many of the episodes. I guess you could say 2 of the episodes were actually based on books.
Yeah.
But kind of loosely, too.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that a disappointment? It seems like that was a deliberate move on their part to not base
I think
episodes
some
on
of
the
it's
books.
the translation between, you know, a novel, even a short novel, and the format of a television show, which is, you know, 48 minutes tops, sometimes 42 minutes, depending on how many commercials. So it's got the act breaks have to fit just right in the storyline, and they found it easier to just write original stories.
Okay.
That's basically what happened.
That makes sense. Best theme music ever. I love that. Dun, 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 dun. You know, that was just a great opening
The executive
music.
producer wrote that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
So did Frank ever hear Joe sing completely?
Yes, that was the running joke that you never heard Joe sing. You were always like in the restroom or something.
Yeah, there was always something would happen. He started singing, something would happen, I'd run off. Yeah. I actually went and heard him do concerts, so in real life I heard him sing.
Yeah, because he was big.
Yeah,
He was pretty
yeah.
big. Okay, now talk to us a little bit about Longmire. You recently did an episode of Longmire. How did that come about? Were you a fan of that show before you got on it, or was it a job? What was it?
I was a fan of the show, and I'm not sure how that call came. The casting director knew me and thought I'd be right for it, so she had me come in and meet on it, which I did.
Yeah.
And I had pulled away from acting for a lot of years, and the fact that the character was a character about a guy who pulled away and disappeared for a lot of years, I think ended up being probably why they just said yes, and they didn't read other people. They just said, "You want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, I really want to do it." So off I went. I think that's how that happened.
Now, what else is coming up for you? Do you have some more stuff?
Well, they've asked me to go back to Longmire, so I'll be going back and do some version of what that character is. I don't know what way they're going to take the story, but
Okay, so you are actually going to reprise that role.
they've asked me to come back on the show.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
great.
it should be
That's
great.
kind of rare to do like a one-shot like that, and then.
They're doing it. Peter Weller has done that. Joe McCraney has
yes.
done that. They've had a couple of people kind of come in and out on a recurring basis, which
Okay,
is
so you're
perfect
gonna
for
be
me.
recurring. Yeah, I
It'd be
love
great.
the Peter Weller character. He is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
RoboCop.
Yeah. No, it's a really interesting show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do you spend? What would a typical day in the life of Parker Stevenson be? How do you spend your time? You know, what are your interests and hobbies?
I spend a lot of time with my photography. I shoot a lot and I travel a lot with my photography, and I'm working on images a lot, processing images, printing images. So every day I spend at least a couple hours doing that. And then I'm on the beach every day because I get exercise on the beach. I either go surfing or I run or something because I live
Those
right by the
Baywatch
beach.
days, you're just kind of reliving that whole thing.
Yeah. That's where I live, actually.
Yeah, well, you were on the Baywatch series a little bit earlier in the run. You were on at the same time as Erica Lanier.
Yes.
I remember that too. And then, but already the show was hugely popular at the time, right? Didn't it kind of hit right away? I only saw it
You know,
in reruns
it always did
myself.
well. It got canceled, I think, because it was really expensive the first year. NBC canceled, and then it got picked up again in a whole new franchise format. The syndication began. The real syndication sales of international territories, one by one, happened with Baywatch. That's why it went so big and became the biggest show in the history of television because of the way they sold it. And I came back to the show to act and direct after it had gone through that transition.
Ah, okay. And then North and South, of course, loved that miniseries of the 80s, and the 90s, when the miniseries were so big. Do you find nowadays when you do shows like this that people recognize you more from Hardy Boys or from North and South? I mean, what do they associate most with you?
I think people have have strong memories from the Hardy Boys, probably more than even Baywatch or some of the other stuff I've done, just because of the time in their life. People come up and describe, that they'd come back from school or they were going through difficult times as a teen and they'd watch that show and it was just a nice escape for them. So it seems to have a lot of memories to people.
Do you keep in touch with Sean Cassidy?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's cool.
I do. And Pamela, who played Nancy Drew.
Yeah, I saw her in New Jersey.
Yeah.
To her theater.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
the time.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Nice to see you guys.